I'm in my zone.
Hey, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and I'm bringing you guys a review of Xmen Destiny for the PlayStation 3. This was actually the first review I had to second guess myself on because there's a lot of people out there waiting to hear the review on this one, and there's already a lot of people out there hating on this game that haven't even played it yet. And after watching the trailers and a few videos for it, I certainly wasn't sure myself what to think of this one. Luckily, you guys out there that were excited about this game coming out can rest easy. It's a solid game. It's got a few minor problems, but they can all be overlooked. Let's go ahead and get into the review. The graphics on the game are a little bit of hit and miss. Some of the cutscene animations were rather stiff, and some of the more action-oriented cutscenes weren't the best looking, but the actual in-game graphics and animations were pretty smooth and nice looking, and certainly will please any X-Men fans out there. The actual text that flies around and can be broken as you're fighting was a really awesome touch, and I never really got tired of smashing those. There's no problems with the cameras on this one. Of course, you can back yourself into a corner that will almost put you into a first-person perspective, but my actual view didn't get obstructed, so they handled that aspect of the game very well. There was, however, a minor issue with the sound during my playthrough. It may have been a fluke, but during my few hours with the game, there was a point in which the sound turned to complete static. I paused the game and unpaused it, and it went away. This only happened once, and it only lasted 20 or 30 seconds until I paused it, but it's still worth mentioning. That's really the only bug or glitch I've come across in the game, so I don't want to give you guys the impression the game is broken, because that's the only issue I had. The voice acting on the game was really well done, but there was a bit of an issue with the actual dialogue, which I'll get into that next.
You're the one who set this whole thing up, aren't you? The one who
Hey! You talking to yourself again? Man, I worry about your sanity sometimes.
The actual script in this game for the first couple stages is downright horrible. The bad thing is they made it to where you can't skip the cutscenes, so they were determined to make you watch them, and for the first stage especially, the cutscenes were flying at me what seemed like every 20 or 30 seconds. The actual interaction between your main character and everyone else as far as the X-Men was so awkward and bad it was laughable for the first couple stages, but it really does a 180 and starts to take itself a little more serious the further you get into the game. But if I had to have judged the game off that first and second stage as far as the story and the dialogue, I'd probably be telling you guys not to buy the game, and also to go to your local store, get a copy out of the case, and smash it on the floor to save someone else the trouble. But believe me when I tell you, the game does get a lot better after the first couple stages. It's almost like a completely different game. For the trophy hunters out there, you guys are going to really like this game. The trophies on here come pretty easy, and they also come pretty quick, as I had over half the trophies in just my first couple hours of playing, and I wasn't even trying really to go after them. The game is also pretty easy with the exception of a couple boss fights, so even the difficulty on here isn't going to be too bad. I know I spent a lot of this review talking about the few bad things in the game, but I wanted to state very clearly this is not in any way a bad game. I actually rented my copy from a local Redbox, but if I had purchased it, I would not be disappointed with it. The game is a bit short, but luckily they give you a lot of reasons to play through it again, and the actual customization you can do with your character is not in any way just a gimmick. The game is very much a button masher at heart, but the amount of different special abilities you can unlock really does change how the game is played, and this is also the game's strongest point in my opinion. After you do manage to get through the first couple levels, the game really does have a lot to offer in just interacting with the characters, completing challenges, and collecting items, and the story actually did become a bit more interesting in the later stages. There were also a couple boss fights that were a complete blast to play through, and I was really enjoying how I had created my character. In fact, I actually started a new game just to make a different character so I could see how it changed the cutscenes and their fighting style, and it really put a complete new twist on the game. It is, however, hard for me to tell you guys that you should all run out to the store and pick up a copy of this, because there's so many good games to choose from right now, and so many coming out in the coming weeks. But if you're a fan of the X-Men and you have some spare cash for extra games, this certainly is worth checking out. I'll be uploading a few more videos for you guys to check out, some more of the game if you'd like to do so, a couple of the boss fights. Anyways, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and I'll be bringing you guys more reviews soon.